Our topic today will be the Lubera strawberry families. Welcome to Gardeners Radio by Lubera Edibles, the podcast for professional gardeners. We are talking about edible plants. My name is Frederik Vollert, and at Lubera Edibles I'm responsible for product development. My guest today is again Markus Kobelt, founder of Lubera and also co-founder of Lubera Edibles. Markus, since how many years do you or Lubera is breeding strawberries?
About 15 years. It's a little bit untypical crop for us because it's not a woody plant. We started with woody plants, with apples, currants, raspberries, and then only started with strawberries. So it's perhaps in our crops we have active breeding programs. Perhaps it's more to compare with tomatoes and potatoes and things like that, because it's a non-woody, in this case perennial plant like rhubarb, for example. And so it's a little bit atypical when you think about berries, and berries is also at the roots of our company, because Lubera is lustful and berries, Lubera. That was the reason to found our company name, which is an artificial name. Berries are at the roots of our company, and when you think berries, you automatically think strawberries.
But strawberry isn't a real berry.
Yes, I know, but yeah, you're right. As a gardener, you're right, and you would know the real English name for it. Now I have it. Okay, so no, it's not a real berry, but I think people and consumers are more important than botanics, and they will decide these are berries and these are the berries.
Yes, of course.
And so that's the reason. And we saw that in strawberries is perhaps the biggest difference between what the consumer would like and what is produced by breeding. Yeah, because it's such a soft fruit. That's another name for berries, soft fruit. It's such a soft fruit, and transportation is so important. It becomes more and more important in these days, from south to north, from west to east, and so on. And people want to have strawberry the whole year in the supermarket. And so you have and had to produce strawberries which are really good for transport, good for picking, high in kilograms, but not really good to eat. There are some outstanding varieties still, and also breeders who are reorienting to the quality, but in the total, yes, a variety which is more an apple than and a strawberry cannot be a soft fruit.
Yes. So what is the special thing of your strawberry breeding method? Or strawberry
it's just conventional crossbreeding, and we concentrated on the quality side of crosses with very old varieties and with Fragaria vesca and Fragaria vescana varieties, also forest strawberry varieties, European strawberry forest varieties. You know, the enormous garden strawberry is by no means European. It's 50% American, North American, and 50% South American. And so we brought and rebrought in the European forest strawberry as a Vesca and Vescana types.
Why? What was it?
Because we saw it and see it as a very important ingredient of strawberry quality, that you don't have only the eating quality in the mouth, but also in the nose, so which is a perfume you are experiencing when you in the end of the eating process. And that's also a reason that most of our garden strawberries we have named perfume strawberries, because we have this typical taste of forest strawberries.
Yeah. And how do you think, how successful was your breeding till now? So, I know you can.
I'm a little biased. I'm biased, and no, it's not very successful. Yeah, you would. It's very successful for us. Our company is producing 100% our own Lubera varieties, and we have the proof that they are working. We are selling about 1 million plants, and that's not bad. Most of it online, and this is quite a number. But we weren't till now very successful to bring it to other producers. So, especially for Lubera Edibles. So we are very successful in strawberry, in raspberries and blackberries and currants and whatever. But strawberry still, we started only about 2-3 years ago, but it's a little orphan crop for us. So it's not really going on. And we think what is good or very good for Lubera.com could also be good for other companies.
Yes.
If you want to have something different, that's also a thing. If you want to have a standard strawberry, which is like others and nothing special, that's it, no problem. But if you want to have something special, exclusive, more worth for you and for your customers, then choose Lubera type strawberries.
So at the intro, I said we talk about Lubera strawberry families. And so, what is the special thing of these families? What families have, and what is the USP of these families?
In general, you can say we have the perfume strawberries. These are, in principle, the garden strawberries, and there we have two strains. Once we have the one-time bearing, June bearing varieties, which have the whole crop in June. Yeah? So the plant is developing in the short day or shorter becoming days in summer, autumn. It's developing the small starting bloomlets, which are not developing because they are blocked. They are only deblocked by the winter cold, and these are then starting in spring, developing blooms and developing fruits. So all fruit you will have within 2 to 4 weeks in end of May, June, beginning of July. That's important if you want to have one strawberry season in your garden. You want to have enough strawberries to do some marmalade or cooking or whatever. Then you must have, in the end, you must have a one-time bearing strawberry variety. If you want to have, and you can have this one-time bearing strawberry variety for several years, so it will do the same next years. It makes sense to have them of about 2 to 3 years. After 3 years, the fruits are becoming too small and too many, but it isn't worth anymore. So then you should plant new ones, but 3 years is possible. And then we have the evertime varieties or ever-bearing varieties, which are the whole season producing new blooms. The blooms are developed, are starting to grow, and then they are pollinized and they're becoming fruits. So there is no blocking of the blooms within the plant. And there you have always, between May and September, October, you will have fruits, but not many at the same time. So that is good. When you look at nowadays gardens, in general, the second type, this ever-bearing type, is more interesting because you have more the garden as a leisure place, as a place to enjoy your life, to eat this and that, and not really as a replacement for the supermarket. So it's more interesting to have here and there a strawberry. But of course, if you like cooking, if you like making your own marmalades and whatever, then you should plant the one-time bearing varieties. And then we have a general second type, not the garden strawberry, but the pot strawberries. And these, of course, are ornamental ones, which have also nice fruits, pink to red blooms. And these are always ever-bearing, because as an ornamental plant you would like to have the blooms the whole year and not only 3 weeks as in normal strawberries. And there we are working to make them better eating, because the pink blooms are coming from interspecific cross between strawberries and potentillas. Potentillas have not really nice eating berries, and so that's that's the past we are working up to, and we try to make them better. I think the best variety which we have at the moment, which is even a garden variety now, an everbearing garden variety now, is Daily Rose.
So it's, but I know a Daily Rose. It's a very delicious one, but it's also it's a bright
Pink one, yes. It has both, yeah.
So it's not
Yeah. What is your experience with double pleasure varieties?
I have good experience with double pleasure. So the double pleasure family in the strawberries are, as it says, double pleasure. It's a two-time pleasure. One pleasure is a nice flower, and one pleasure is a nice eating quality. As Markus said, the pink color of the flowers came from potentilla, and these also normally make pink flowering strawberries not very good, not very tasty. And now these double pleasure varieties are very tasty. Not on the level as the June bearing white flowering varieties, but close. And yes, on the double pleasure side we have 3 varieties, or 4 varieties if we include Daily Rose. So the first one is double pleasure hanging pink wonder. It's a very intense pink color of the flowers, and it make very fast runners, and the runners are blooming again. So you have put it the best way to produce double pleasure hanging pink wonder is in a hanging basket, and you have a lot of runners and a lot of flowers on it. It's very delightful. And the other one is standing pink wonder. The flowers are more upright. It's not so vigorous, I can say. It's more, the whole plant is more upright, but it's also reflowering at the runners. And the third one is double pleasure happy eyes. It's a very nice color. The general color of the flowers it's a light red, it's a light pink, and the petals in the middle has a intense dark eye, so that's why we call it happy eyes. And the last one is again the double pleasure Daily Rose, which is also good for planting out in the garden, as planting in a row as a garden crop.
When is the best time? You are also working with some of our clients, also with us. When is the best time to pot strawberry out of in vitro production, like we do it?
Like you do it in the second half of summer with our in vitro plug. So it's I have to say the vitro plug is produced to order. So it's not what we have normally in the stock, and then you can make out of these in vitro plug. You can make a 6 or 10 pack. You can make 9 to 12 centimeter pot, but you also can make a 5-liter pot. But you have to use 2 or 3 young plants, and when you pot the young plants in the second half of summer, the shorter daylight, with the shorter daylight, you have much less runners on the plant. So that's why
we advise to
pot the young plants in late summer, or the other way around is to pot in early spring and just a normal young plant.
An overwinter plant normally? Or?
Normally an overwintered plant. There we normally have only the ever-bearing varieties, so they don't need to establish the flowers in the short day. So you can pot it directly.
And you will have also immediately some flowers.
And this is just a short production. Pot it in maybe 12 centimeter pot. Just pot it in early spring and sell it in May, June. So it's
5, 6 weeks. 6, 7 weeks later.
It's a very short production. Yeah, we had talked about young plants qualities. So now what do you think will be the future of the garden strawberry?
Yes, because the needs of the industry are so clear. Huge crops, longer transports, longer storage ability, and it will be very difficult to bring these goals together with a very high quality. Of course, it's sometimes possible, but in general, it's very difficult. It's perhaps even a contrary. If you think about very good eating strawberries and strawberries which will be picked for a voyage for a trip of 2 weeks to the consumers, and then 1 week more in the fridge of the consumer. So that's not the same. That's all as a different product. So I think the worlds of the professional garden strawberry and of the home garden strawberry will divide even more. In the home garden strawberry, I think that the pink blooming ones, red blooming ones, ornamental blooming ones, you could also have white blooming ones, which are very nice, will become more important, because if you have strawberries in your garden, you would like them good eating, but also nice to look at, if possible. The question for me is the place of the one-time June-bearing varieties, because I can imagine that's still important for some gardeners who really want strawberries in season, in the June season, in the strawberry season, and want to cook with them. That's only possible. So that's the reason I think we will, one time for the moment, we have stopped a little bit, but one time we will reduce breeding for June-bearing varieties. Not that they will most of the varieties, but they are interesting to have a concentrated crop at one time at the best possible quality, eating quality. So it will be a perfume type, which not only has the aroma, but also the perfume in the nose. And I think there is also potential. So ornamental and very good.
Okay, thank you. And last question, what is your personal favorite strawberry variety?
Yeah, of course, eternal love, because at least in strawberries it exists.
Thank you, Markus, for your open words to the strawberries. And now we are at the end of this episode. I hope you like it. If you have questions or comments, you can mail me directly to frederik.vollert@luberaedibles.com. And please watch also our next episodes.
Thanks for hearing Gardens Radio by Lubera Edibles. You find us on every platform for podcasts, Spotify, Apple, and of course on our website www.luberaedibles.com. Go on gardening.